Hello and welcome to a very special Halloween edition of yours truly, Sapphire. Forgive me for going full boy mode here. I am trying to dress up as Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, I can't do a full, you know, a full on costume for him just in my current situation, but that's what I'm going for, is a vibe of Ozzy Osbourne anyway. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, my lovelies. So we are going to start off by talking about the pagan festival of Samhain, also known as Halloween, as well as the new moon in Libra that has recently passed, and the energy of the full moon in Taurus that is coming soon as well. So we're going to talk about all those things, and at the end, I'm also going to do my first for this channel, tarot or oracle reading for you all. Specifically, it is going to be a Buddha oracle. So it's like kind of a Buddhism, Hinduism themed oracle deck. And it's really special to me because it's honestly one of my first decks ever that I've used. And so yeah, it feels really special to be able to share that all with you guys very soon. And it's just going to be a general reading for the collective. So if so just tune in towards the end of this episode, and yeah, if it resonates with you, please show some love. And if I feel like if you've found your way to this channel and to this video and this reading towards the end found you for a reason. So please stay tuned. All right, before I get into it, talking about Samhain, also known as Halloween, I encourage you all to please like the video if you enjoy this content and you want to see more like it. Comment down below your thoughts and feelings. Subscribe and turn on the bell if this type of content resonates with you. And normally I do go for a more feminine presentation than this, but obviously I am trying to represent the late and great Ozzy Osbourne. And yeah, just subscribe and turn on the bell if you enjoyed this video and this type of content and you want to see more like it. And turn on the bell, please. And even donate if you feel called. Namaste. Thank you so much. So first off, what is Samhain? Samhain is also known as Halloween, is a significant spiritual festival marking the transition from the harvest season to winter. It is believed to be a time when the veil between the physical and the spiritual or metaphysical realms is at its thinnest. It is a period of time for honoring one's ancestors, reflecting on life and death, and engaging in rituals to connect with the spirit realm and release what no longer serves one's spiritual journey. Samhain is celebrated traditionally from October 31st to November 1st. It marks the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter. It means the end of one year and the beginning of a new year in the traditional pagan wheel of the year. Now, I personally choose to celebrate the new year on the winter solstice, in line with the winter solstice of roughly December 21st. But every pagan or Wiccan's traditions are slightly different or very different from each other, as we all have different spiritual paths and practices and journeys. It's as unique as we all are as humans and sentient beings. That's the multiplicity of different spiritual paths you have, honestly, out there. And me, I may choose to, celebrate a turning of the year December 21st. Lots of witches out there do celebrate, you know, October 31st going over to November 1st as their version of a new year. So, it's different strokes for different people, right? It's just a matter of which tradition and which way of doing things, connects with each other. I mean, with each of us most strongly and significantly. So, Samhain also marks the third and final harvest festival of autumn in the pagan traditions of the Northern Hemisphere. What is this final harvest of the year? Well, traditionally, it was a harvest of meat, of flesh. It was a time of slaughter of those livestock animals that weren't likely to make it through the harsh winter to come. Of course, as a largely vegetarian person, that is not how I personally choose to celebrate this time. Besides, our modern lives are a far cry from the existence of humans thousands of years ago when these pagan traditions like Samhain arose. If you choose to eat meat or even hunt in a respectful and sustainable manner, I don't wish to preach from a high horse and chastise you. Your choice is yours. But most of our choices are now between animals and animal based products from creatures, precious beings, raised by thousands or millions in factory farms and slaughtered as if on an assembly line, and then later butchered and or processed. Or, on the other hand, plants and plant-based products, yes, grown and harvested and or processed, usually in a mass production type of conditions, but done towards non-sentient beings, towards plants rather than animals, which, we have demonstrated animals are absolutely sentient for the most part. There are certain primitive animals where that we don't really know and it doesn't really apply, but vast majority of animals are sentient. Plants are not sentient. They do respond to chemical stimuli in their environment, um, and that gets them to respond in a certain way and send chemical messages to other plants and fungi and vice versa, but still not sentient, just communicative and, yeah, on some level absolutely conscious. They are after part of the universal consciousness as a whole. However, setting aside the horror, the reality, the horror, the ghastliness of modern industrial mass slaughter for meat, you have to admit, Festival of Flesh or Festival of Death goes really hard and is simultaneously very horror, very goth, and very heavy metal. In all earnestness, though, I don't wish to now or ever glorify or celebrate death, not, like in and of itself. But death is as much a part of life and the universe as living and breathing life itself. Light and dark, day and night, summer and winter, yin and yang, life and death, they are opposing sides of the same coin. Intertwined and interdependent parts of the duality of existence in the universe. In this way, I instead honor and respect death. Just as I recently mentioned honoring the darkness, right? While I choose to instead dwell in the light and celebrate life, well, death is absolutely a part of that cycle of life and the universe. Now, if a plant based lifestyle is more your MO, please don't be discouraged. Plants, ironically, play a pretty central role in this, traditional pagan festival. Apples, nuts, and bread were, in fact, some of the most common traditional offerings given to the dead. Samhain is also, of course, a significant festival in Celtic tradition, believed to be a time when the veil between the physical and spiritual or metaphysical world is at its thinnest, as I mentioned before. This allows for greater interaction between the living and the dead. Well, for better and for worse, Samhain has arguably over time become heavily commercialized and modernized into its current form known as Halloween now. Originally, when Christian missionaries made their way over to Europe starting in the 1st century AD, they basically took over the 1st of November and called it All Hallows, the Day for the Dead. On that note, the Latino festival of Dia de los Muertos, also celebrated from November 1st to November 2nd, is in fact an amalgamation of traditions, the traditions of Aztec and indigenous cultures and those of the Catholic Spaniard colonists. All Hallows was a time you would pray to the dead so that they would be released from the Christian purgatory and go to Christian heaven. This was an appropriation of the traditional pagan and Celtic festivals because Halloween is a time for the dead. Celts and pagans alike would leave offerings to the dead so that they weren't upset, and especially if they wanted to communicate or connect with those dead during this time, like their ancestors, for example. It was then in the 19th century that millions of Irish and Scottish immigrants brought their Halloween traditions rooted in Samhain, including customs like dressing in costumes and pranks, to the United States and blended their traditions with traditional American harvest festivals. Later key American adaptations or inventions included replacing the carved turnip with carving a pumpkin, as well as community gatherings and parties and trick-or-treating. A time-honored tradition of the past few decades in American history anyways. Like, it's a pretty recent phenomenon, trick-or-treating, but as a child I enjoyed it, I loved it, and I hope that tradition can still live on in some way. But aside from trick-or-treating, Halloween is actually one of my favorite holidays, and that is for the simple fact of dressing up. That is one of my favorite things about Halloween is costumes and dressing up, even more so than the trick-or-treating. Yeah, I think especially as a child, I honestly, sorry to to go into my personal life here, but I sort of connected to costume and dressing up and stuff like that from kind of a deep place as a kid because, I knew that I was trans. Like, I knew that I was, this feminine energy here, but I didn't feel like I had the proper outlet to express that. And, now here I am, ironically, dressing up more so like a dude to try to represent Ozzy Osbourne. So it's come full circle. No, it's just that, costuming and cosplaying is always something that I've enjoyed for the longest time. And, initially, especially like early adulthood, I really connected to it because, it was that side of me that was repressed that I was then allowed to express. And now I'm doing one of the rare costumes where I'm, more in a masculine energy, right? Because most of the costumes I have done back to, early adulthood were feminine. We're definitely feminine in one way or the other. It's just when I was a kid and teen, I didn't get that chance. So there were a lot of kind of like either masculine or kind of neutral, non-binary type of costumes that I ended up doing, right? Now, sorry for that extended tangent, but going back to what I was saying, Halloween its origins, its roots are heavily, heavily pagan in origin. And you have better believe that we witches, wizards, and warlocks have not forgotten this fact. And each and every one of us have our own way of marking and celebrating this time of the year, keeping the pagan traditions of the time of the souls of the dead, breaking through the thin veil, well, alive and kicking. So what are some common ways to mark and celebrate Samhain? Well, traditionally bonfires are lit symbolizing purification and protection, and participants may dress in costumes to disguise themselves from malevolent spirits. Another time-honored central part of Samhain is celebrating with ancestors. Samhain is a time to honor your ancestors and loved ones who have passed away. Rituals often include setting a place at the table for deceased family members and sharing stories about them. Rituals also include various intuitive means of connecting with and even communicating with ancestors and loved ones who have passed on. These can include meditation, prayer, shamanic practices, various divination exercises and techniques such as pendulums, Ouija boards. Do not recommend without very strong protection. Scrying and or oracle readings, tarot readings, peering into bowls of water, and tea leaves as well. And even modern technological ghost hunting methods like EMF and EMP readers and ghost boxes. Now, this can also be as simple as just simply verbally attempting to communicate with one's loved ones who have passed over and seeing what happens, seeing if you hear anything, if you see anything strange or unusual, if you hear or see signs, if you hear or see what sounds like the voice of those who've passed on, as well as meditating and doing prayer and just then sitting in silence and, maybe having a vision, maybe seeing or hearing them in your mind's eye or your third eye as you attempt to connect with them. So those are all various different options. Trial and error, see what works for you. And, happy, blessed connecting with your loved ones, as happy as it can be since they have passed on. But, I hope it's very happy, powerful, impactful, and just, grand, incredible experience that you are able to have by connecting with your ancestors. And I wish that to each and every one of you. Now, another central practice of Samhain is the time and the art of transformation and reflection. The festival symbolizes transformation, marking the transition from the light half of the year to the dark half of the year. It encourages introspection and the release of fears or negative energies, allowing individuals to confront their inner selves and, their lower selves, the things that may have been plaguing them in one way or the other, and releasing them, letting go and releasing all negative energies and what no longer serves you, and instead stepping into your highest, most authentic selves and connecting and stepping into your inner higher self. Now, another absolutely wonderful and lovely practice of Samhain is rituals and offerings. So offerings of food and drinks such as apples, nuts, and bread, among others. Apple cider. Apple cider is also a great option because that uses apples and uses the life energy of those apples, which is strong. You know, they contain some strong concentrated natural plant sugars, right? And obviously it's a stretch to connect that to the metaphysical world, you know, and that honestly just depends on what your spirits around you and the ancestors you're trying to connect to. It honestly depends on what they might be attracted to, right? What are they attracted to? What do they connect with? But I definitely feel like apple juice or apple cider definitely has a lot of energy to it, just life energy to it. And maybe that's something that ideally the good spirits will connect with. So all those offerings are left to appease spirits, but also connect with the good ancestral spirits that you want to connect with. And said offerings also offer protection for the living. Specifically, it is tradition to leave said offerings in multiples of 9. Multiples of 9, like 9 small loaves or pieces of bread, 9 cups of apple cider, 9 nuts, or 9 apples, for example. But as I was saying, it is tradition to leave said offerings in multiples of 9 because the number 9 is often known as the number of transformation and immortality, and it is a very special number to witchcraft. If you didn't know that, it is a very special number for witchcraft, but also for connecting with one's angels. 9 is a very, very powerful number of completion and turning over a new leaf, and, you know, end of old cycles that you want to leave in the past, and the birth of new, better, higher, brighter cycles and a better life for you going forward, right? So 9 is a very powerful number according to numerology, but also in witchcraft. And funny enough, during this year, we've also passed the 999 portal in September 9th. So that was a cool happening, and I've still been seeing a lot of 999s just out there in the wild. So if you're seeing that, if you're seeing lots of 9s out there in the world, maybe you are connecting with that energy. Because those numbers, 9 and the repeating 9s, are so central to and important to witchcraft, but also just spirituality in general and connecting with angels, right? And because it has that energy of transformation and immortality, it's also known as a number of initiation for young witches, wizards, and warlocks as well. And as far as other Halloween decorations and pastimes, turnips, or in the modern version, pumpkins, are often carved with ghastly and ghoulish faces and a candle placed inside with the intention of scaring away harmful spirits. And that way it's out there all night, so it's protecting you in the evening as you're trick-or-treating, hanging out with friends and everything, and it protects you as well through the night when these spirits may be most active, both positive and negative. That there's the potential for that. Obviously we don't want that, and that's the whole purpose of using different forms of protection, including pumpkins, but other forms of protection like, you know, for example, salt barriers, burning sage, incense, things like that. Samhain, like Beltane on the opposite end of the wheel of the year, is also known as a time of chaos and a time for the Fae. The Fae can, of course, be very delightful, joyful, cheerful, if intensely shy beings, and harbingers of good luck on the one hand, But many of them, on the other hand, are heavily mischievous, manipulative, and even malevolent on the other hand. For this reason, and for other ethereal ghouls out there, and other nasties that may pop up over the course of Samhain, or at any time for that matter, but especially during Samhain, during this thin veil, it is important now more than any other time of the year to wear and surround yourself in protection, as I was mentioning, in your individual unique form of protection, which does include your individual unique form of protection. What do you connect with, and what do you feel most grounded and protected by? So these can include protective crystals such as black tourmaline, obsidian, amethyst, labradorite, and smoky quartz and sage incense, salt barriers, any form of protective jewelry, for example, accessory or adornment with great spiritual power and personal significance, and even crosses. Yes, crosses. I'm specifically referring to the pagan equal-armed cross. And these type of crosses were traditionally crafted with rowan wood, and these crosses were also tied with red thread to hold them together. Although absolutely no shade to any Christian spiritualists out there, who may be using the Christian cross instead, if you are a believer. Absolutely fine, no shade on that. That's just not how I roll, Now, I've noticed that another great form of protection, at least for me personally, it's something that you can absolutely all use yourself, is getting out there and getting some sun, getting out there and touching grass. Yeah, but connecting with nature, and specifically observing and connecting with the sun, especially when it's low in the horizon, when you can gaze at it, glance at it for a few, for a fraction of a second or whatever. Sometimes I use, sunglasses and look for a second or two when it's at that, low horizon position. And the reason for that is obviously the sun is immensely powerful from just a physical and a nuclear perspective, right? It's releasing insane amounts of energy every second. But I feel as if, the sun, is carrying a lot of powerful energy from and I feel as if the sun is carrying a lot of spiritual energy and power that is, gifted from, gods, goddesses, the universe, universal consciousness. It's being gifted to us. Specifically, I believe in Surya, in the Celtic pagan tradition. That, of course, is Lu. But yes, Surya. Connect with Surya. And just sit in the sun and focus and take in that energy. Focus and send in that peace, that light, that love from Surya or Lu or whoever you believe in into your core, and let it then radiate and ripple out into the rest of your body and your spiritual being. That is a great practice for protection in my eyes and my experience as well. But yeah, another great practice for protection is as simple as just plain old meditation for a few minutes or even longer, especially when you are connecting with, especially when you are surrounding yourself with some sage, some incense, and lighting some candles, and just focusing on positive energies, positive thoughts, and positive energies, and inviting that in, especially if you, believe in angels, if you believe in gods and goddesses, inviting their energy in, and they will protect you and they will guide you. So like I was alluding to, different strokes for different types of people, right? When it comes to spiritual practices and protecting yourself at this time during this holiday, this occasion, as well as just in general throughout the year. And my favorite forms of, my other favorite forms, my jewelry that I keep around me for protection purposes, although they are beautiful, are these. So I got this at a witchy store in my county, like pretty local, very cool witchy shop. And look at this beautiful, gorgeous piece. In the back, you can see carries a bunch of, stones of all the different colors of chakras. So, connects with that, energy of aligning and healing your chakras. And that's just a really beautiful one. Then I've got this beautiful, teeny but beautiful sapphire. That is my birthstone. And, unfortunately, they do cost quite a bit. They are a precious jewel. So, I got at least this little one, and it's beautiful. Very thankful for it. And finally, I have this Virgo balancing stone. I'm not exactly sure what type of stone or stones is in it. I believe it's just one. It has an impurity, so it has like a stripe right there, right? It might be carnelian, I'm not sure, but it's supposed to like balance Virgo energy. Now, y'all probably know, Virgo is my moon sign according to sidereal astrology. So it's great that I can balance that moon side, that shadow side of me. I definitely intend to go back to some kind of witchy shop or just find something online that would be considered a Leo balancing stone as well, because that's my sun sign. That's what I, and it's my ascendant sign. So it's like, that's what I really want to connect with, that Leo energy. But this obviously helps as it balances some of that frazzly Virgo energy. Now, if you see potentially dark fae approaching you, first off, take a few calm breaths. It's going to be okay. Don't get too scared. But you can also take your shoes off and throw the dust or the mud from them, from your shoes at them, especially if you encounter one outside, If you can't encounter dark fae outside, there you go. Throw your shoe at them or throw the mud from your shoe at them. It isn't a very offensive gesture, so makes sense. So Samhain is also known as a time of great worship of the old gods and goddesses of your ancestors, and whichever deities have intense personal significance to you, and whichever practices have intense personal significance to the given pagan person in general, the faithful person, as well as a traditional time of initiation of young witches into their practices and into their craft. So as I was mentioning before, this time of year does carry that energy of, the nines, completion, and also of initiation of new beginnings. And this time of year of Halloween, of Samhain, is also a time of traditionally of initiation of witches and pagans into their craft, into their practices. So happy birthday, all you young baby witches. Feel free to come out of the witch closet if it is safe for you. So witches specifically would also gather around sacred wells at this time in traditional pagan practice. You would walk around the well clockwise 3 times and then silver the coins with water, toss coins into the water. And this would mean your wishes would come true. Witches would then tie thin strips of cloth into trees overhanging such wells and walk away. In effect, a way of leaving behind any bad luck or bad juju, or simply leaving behind the past. Stripping away the bad, the negative, and what you don't want to carry into this next cycle, so that you can, step into new, abundant, beautiful, prosperous, and positive new beginnings. Traditionally for a lot of pagans, including Celts, and Wiccans, this is the time of the new year. Not for me personally, as I said, but for, traditional pagans, November 1st is New Year's, basically. Now, for authenticity's sake, this practice of walking clockwise around the sacred wells is best practiced at midnight on Halloween in silence, but make sure you've returned home before sunrise. I don't mean to be ominous with that, but that is a warning basically against, dark fae energy, basically. So do make sure to return home before sunrise. Today, Samhain is celebrated by various neo-pagan and Wiccan communities as a more or less religious holiday. It retains its spiritual essence, focusing on the cycles of life, death, and rebirth, while also incorporating some of the traditions of pagan ancestors long departed, as well as elements of modern Halloween festivities. Now, as mentioned, I'll take a quick little diversion into the current astrology of this season and this time in not just this time of the year, but in the universe. What is the current astrological energy and forecast of this time? So first, I wanted to start off by just talking about the new moon that just happened roughly a week ago, the new moon in Libra. So the Libra new moon, of course, happened October 21st, and it isn't just an astral phenomenon. Rather, it represents a profound spiritual unfolding that is intricately woven with mysticism and untapped potential being unleashed. Libra, the sign of harmony and balance and partnership, sends a gentle diplomatic energy our way, nudging us towards balance in our relationships and our internal worlds. With the new moon in Libra, we are presented with a metaphorical portal, inviting introspection and rebirth amidst the cosmic ballet, and also following the recent solar eclipse in Virgo of September 21st. And this is happening as the moon is positioned between the Earth and the Sun, making the side of the moon that faces the Earth appear dark and invisible to us, creating a mesmerizing, disappearing new moon. The absence of the light, of the apparent way forward, brings to mind crafting and manifesting the journey forward, because the new moon is a wonderful time to connect with the energy of manifestation and imagining your goals, your dreams. When the full moon is in the sky, it's kind of similar, energy wise, to when the sun is out. It's bright, it's shining, it's blinding, except, obviously the moonshine is not blinding, but you get my point. It's full of brightness, full of energy, full of life. So it doesn't leave much to the imagination. It's all laid bare by the presence of light around you, right? Well, the new moon is the opposite. It's the darkness. Um, but it's and and by virtue of the new moon being a time of darkness, and by virtue of the new moon being a time of darkness, it is a time of reflection and reflection on kind of like which way forward, which way are you going to go? Are you going to, you know, kind of cave in to give into the darkness, or are you going to be the light in the darkness? Are you going to allow your brilliance, your light, your goals, your dreams, your purpose to shine forth as gifts to the world and to the universe? Um, Well, the new moon is the perfect time to connect with your dreams, connect with your visions, you know, and if so called, and if so called by the spirits, also go beyond simply envisioning it and working on actively creating and manifesting it by, drafting goals and plans that will get you over that hurdle to your dreams. So, this lunar phase of the new moon in Libra is also so rich in potential. It serves as portals for new beginnings, as I alluded to, and personal and collective transformation. Shadows are cast as the Libra new moon cloaks itself between the earth and the sun's vibrant aura, encouraging us to delve into our own depths, exploring, uncovering, and perhaps unveiling new aspects of our spiritual selves. Allow the gentle scales of Libra to guide your spirit through balance, renewal, and transformation, and transformative ascension as you gaze, engage, ponder, and immerse yourself in the cosmic spectacle. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the full moon in Taurus. The full moon in Taurus is spiritually significant as it encourages grounding, stability, and self reliance, helping individuals to connect with their inner strength and resources. It is a time to release emotional struggles and embrace personal growth, illuminating areas in life that may need transformation. So, the full moon in Taurus is a time of illumination and grounding. Taurus, ruled by Venus, emphasizes stability, comfort, and the physical aspects of life. This lunar phase invites individuals to connect deeply with their senses and appreciate the beauty of their surroundings and connect with all their blessings. It encourages self reflection on personal values and material attachments. So, what are some key themes and takeaways from the full moon in Taurus energy? So, Taurus symbolizes desire, which can lead to aspiration. This energy motivates individuals to pursue their goals and their dreams. The full moon in Taurus is also bringing the energy of security and stability. Taurus emphasizes the need for emotional and financial stability and balance. It encourages individuals to assess their comfort zones and recognize areas where they may be holding back and what may be holding them back. The phase of the full moon in Taurus often brings to light hidden emotions and patterns that need addressing. It's a time for releasing what no longer serves one's growth. Taurus is also bringing an energy of connecting to nature. Taurus is an earth sign, after all, promoting a reconnection with nature and the physical body. This is a time to appreciate the natural world and to find grounding. Now, during the full moon in Taurus, rituals can enhance spiritual growth. And I'm here to talk about what those grounding and healing rituals are. Some grounding exercises include simply connecting with the energy of nature, spending time in nature and connecting with the earth. And that can, include if you're so inclined to fully take off your shoes and step into the grass, step into the bare mineral earth, whatever, step into the mud, whatever may be, under your feet in a natural area. Connect with the energy of Mother Earth. You can do it that way, in an intimate way with your feet, but you can also do it in a way of simply, going for a walk and experiencing the energy of nature around you. Another great ritual for the full moon in Taurus is a release ritual, writing down what you wish to let go of and safely burning that paper as a symbolic release. And I plan to do a little bit of that myself safely. Another beautiful ritual for any time, but especially during the full moon in Taurus, it helps with these energies of balance and stability and grounding, and that is meditation. Focus on your desires and aspirations and visualizing them coming to fruition. That is a great way to ground in the energy of that which you wish to manifest. But, you can obviously also just simply do meditation where you're just in calm, in silence, and not focusing your thoughts in any specific way other than on quiet and silence and peace, and grounding with the energy around you and the energy of Mother Earth. This powerful full moon in Taurus is also a wonderful reminder to embrace both stability and change, allowing for personal growth and transformation. Now, as promised, a reading for the collective. If you've found your way here, you're in the right place, and whatever time it happens to be, wherever you may be physically or in your life, this message found you for a reason, and I thank you. Namaste. Thank you for so much for tuning in. All right, let's get into this reading. Very first reading for the channel. So exciting. So exciting. Okay, little shuffle. Shuffly. Oh. I'll do it a few times. So it's nice and mixed. Spirit, what do you wish to show to the collective at this time? Spirit, what do you wish to show to all my beautiful, lovely followers and friends and subscribers and viewers? Spirit, what is the most highest aligned truth of peace, light, and love for my beautiful viewers? Namaste. Namaste. Thank you, universal consciousness. Okay. And let's get into it. Oh, I'm already feeling called to go to the bottom of the deck, which I was going to go to anyways, but maybe there's something special there. I mean, obviously. A devotee. So a devotee is the card. And remember, these are Buddhism / Hinduism themed oracle cards. So devotee is offering his gift of song. Your skills are the gifts you can share with others. Wow. So definitely somebody out there who's watching is a creative type of person. Many of you may, in fact, be creative types of people, either with music, with art in general, with drawing, doing digital art, or maybe starting a YouTube channel and doing content creation. Like, someone out here, I feel like, needed to hear this energy of, support of their goals and their dreams here. Like, I feel like, whoever is connecting with this, like, you're being guided by spirit to connect with the skills and skills that are the gifts you can share with others. Your skills are the gifts you can share with others, like the card said. On the flip side, on the top of the deck, we have this pretty one. It's a beautiful kind of like tapestry. I'm not exactly sure what it's called. I know I've read it before, but yeah. So I'm not going into the guidebook. I'd be happy to go into the guidebook with y'all. You know, if you have specific questions, you can comment down below and I can answer them with, you know, information from the guidebook about each of these cards. I'm simply like kind of riffing it, winging it, like going off of, and that's not to detract from what I'm doing, right? Like I'm connecting with these intuitive energies, but, you know, I'm simply going off of what I get from the card in general and the message of the card. I don't want to have to go back and forth while I'm, you know, reading and connecting, reading for you guys and connecting with your energy. I don't want to have to deal with the book and go back and forth like that, if that makes sense. So, oh, I forgot about the numbers. The numbers are special too. So this one was 1-5. So according to numerology, that would be 6. So yeah, the energy of 6 is a big like reminder for balance. Or if you're not too worried about balance because you already have a lot of calm and inner peace in your life, it's more so just like a reaffirmment and a confirmation that you are in this energy, you are embodying this energy. But yeah, it's just a big card for like harmony, balance. Sorry, a big number for harmony and balance, the 6. And what do you know it? Again, so we have 2-4, 24. That is another 6, right? Ooh, no, I don't think that's what we're going to have happen, but even if that does happen, the 3 6s is an angel number, not something evil, you know. But anyways, 2-4, 6, number 6. Sri Yantra, cosmic map to your true playful laughing self. Whoa. I feel like this was kind of for me, but I'm sure there's many out there that are also connecting with that message. Cosmic map to your true playful laughing self. When feeling disheartened, stop and watch a child at play. So this card seems to be all about joy, having more joy in your life. You know, even if you're kind of maybe like a lonely person in a lonely type of situation, you can have plenty of joy by connecting with the, you know, types of things that bring you joy, what makes you happy to do, like what are your hobbies, and hobbies are also a great way to then end up connecting with others, and you know, you have more joy, you have more fun, happiness, and playful and laughter in your life. This is encouraging you all to then connect with that energy. You're being called to connect with the energy of joy, love, happiness, spontaneousness, all that good stuff, all that good juju. And you know, this can also obviously carry over to your professional life. You know, this may, depending on how you interpret it, this may be a message to simply connect with what you love, what you are passionate about, what brings you joy in your life, and figure out how to make a career doing what you love, what you love and what brings great value to society, to, you know, what fills a need for people as well. So that's that, you know, as the saying goes, you know, do what you love. Do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. You know, and obviously there's going to be hard and challenging moments. It's not like it's not hard work doing what you love, but it's going to be, you know, more free flowing, joyful, and exciting for you rather than, you know, the 9 to 5 grind for example, like I'm all too familiar with. But I'm trying to get out of, right? Okay, now I'm just going to simply draw 7 cards, and then I'm going to kind of take a few moments of silence just to connect with the energy of the cards before picking 3 and flipping them over to reveal what we have. Okay. Obviously, this is for the collective, so if y'all were here, I would have you pick, but Spirit, show me the energy of the cards and show me which cards bring the most love, light, and truth and power for the collective, the beautiful individuals, the beautiful souls and beings, the beautiful subscribers and followers and friends that I have. What is the message that needs to come forth now? Okay. Okay, I think we have our cards. Sorry for the delay, but I think we have our cards now. First one is Karma Dakini. Karma Dakini, the Green Buddha family of the North. Replace envy by focusing on your accomplishments. So I think the energy here is to, you know, let go of comparison. Let go of the energy of comparison, of, you know, judging yourself relative to others who may, you know, be far beyond where you are with the level of skills and knowledge and capability that you have. But you're starting on your path. Compare yourself to where you were a month ago, 5 months ago, 5 years ago. Compare yourself to that. Don't compare yourself to others who are on their own unique journey. You know, compare yourself to the you of a year ago or 5 years ago. Like, it's you versus you. That's how you're going to see real growth and real progress. And I think that's what I'm getting from the Karma Dakini here. Green Buddha family of the North, so a very wise being also, including intuitively wise. But yeah, just replace envy by focusing on your accomplishments. I think that speaks for itself, and that's something that, you know, maybe we all can use more of, especially in this digital age of, you know, comparison and quantifying like our following and all that stuff. You know, just take some time for humility and gratitude as well. And next we have, oh, I was going to look at the numbers. And wouldn't you know, Karma Dakini actually has 44, like the angel number 444, like you're on the right path. 2 4s is also indicating you're on the right path, you're being divinely protected, guided, and supported. And according to numerology, you bring those 4s together. That's the energy of abundance. That's the energy of abundance. And I think it's beautiful and so like synchronistic that it connects with the message of the card as well, because I mean, that's how you're really going to become abundant and successful. Let go of comparison and focus on your own growth, your own journey. And, you know, being humble and having a lot of humility for, you know, your own journey and, you know, having a lot of respect for what others have also done. But, using them as inspiration rather than a source of envy, which just hurts yourself. Using them as a source for inspiration, and also having a ton of gratitude for what you already have in your life. And, as you visualize the future, having gratitude for what's to come as well, but also having gratitude for the positive influences in your life as well. Now, this next one, Yeshe Sogyal. I may be mispronouncing that. I apologize if I am. But 32 is the number. 3 plus 2, according to numerology, that's the energy of 5. That's the energy of change and transformation. So Yeshe Sogyal, the Wisdom Lake Queen, is bringing forward a message, and she's saying, celebrate the creative feminine energy and the vitality of life. Wow. Celebrate the creative feminine energy and the vitality of life. And that's just, feminine energy. That's for everybody. That doesn't matter what gender you actually are or identify with. Feminine energy is just an energy, right? It's something that we can all use and we all need in balanced ways, right? But the feminine is also known for the energy of birth, of creation, right? And yeah, that's what this card's about. It's about the vitality of life, about bringing forth new life. I feel like some of you may have a baby on the way, or a baby may be in the future of the family, of the immediate family. So I feel like that's kind of like a partial sub energy of what's going on here. I feel like at least a few of you may be welcoming a baby into your life or into the nearby family's life. So congrats. I absolutely love that for you. I wish the baby is very happy, healthy, and successful. Yeah. But the feminine energy obviously doesn't have to just be that. It's the energy of creation and birth in general, and that can include symbolic, the birthing of your goals and dreams, the birth of new beginnings in your life. And it's also about the vitality of life. I feel like some of you are, walking into a new chapter of life where you've kind of already arisen from the ashes, or risen from the dark night of the soul. You've already, rose from those circumstances of everything burned down, everything got dark and miserable, but you were able to find a way through that. You were able to somehow see the light at the far end of the tunnel and embrace that light as you kept walking, kept climbing towards that bright light. Even as you didn't have it near you, you were connecting with that energy, and that carried you forward to this new chapter in your life where you're starting to see more of that bright light, more of that success and abundance and vitality of life. I feel like whoever is connecting to this card, it's not just about bringing a new life into your life, into your family's life, like bringing a new being into existence, but it's also about, birthing your goals, your dreams, and your desires. I feel like that's something that is connecting forth through this card. Like some of you are about to birth, or are in that birthing process of your goals and dreams and desires actively as we speak. Oh, what a beautiful card to end on. The Red Dakini, also a 5, so also a change and transformation energy. So we started off with what, 2 6s, and then we moved to the energy of 8 and 5 and 5. Cool. So a lot of, balance and harmony and abundance, success and stability and change and transformation. I feel like a lot of you, including myself included, but a lot of you all out there in general, are going to have to go through some pretty major changes and transformations. And that's not a bad thing. That's just a part of life, part of the process, right? You may already be going through that change, that new cycle, that transformation, the shift from the old to the new. You may be actively going through that right now, or you might have just went through that hurdle, or it's very much so on the immediate horizon. So that's what's happening, but but that energy is coming forth for the better. It's going to bring you so many, blessings, abundance, and stability, and harmony, and balance in your life. And who could ask for more than that, right? But it's going to involve change and transformation. I think it's going to involve like reframing your habits, your skills, your abilities, your discipline, and really focusing in on honing in on that. So it's going to involve the dying of the old you so that you can build and birth the new you. But that's going to bring forth so much abundance and miracles into your life. So it's something that you need to go through. That step of change and transformation is part of the process that you need to go through to get to the other side where you want to be. If you really want to bring your goals, dreams, and desires into life, that's the energy you have to embody, and that's the energy you have to be. That's the reality you have to create and move towards. So again, it's going to involve the dying of the old you so that that new you can not only survive but thrive and thrive in ways that you hadn't even imagined before. It's going to blow your mind, your dreams, your wildest aspirations. It's going to blow them out of the water. But moving back to this card, this final card, 5, the red Dakini, who dances in White Mahakala's heart? White Mahakala's heart. What was I talking about? I was talking about abundance. And White Mahakala is a Hindu god of abundance. Hello? So White Mahakala is a Hindu deity of abundance, along with Lakshmi, of course. And the red Dakini is the energy of who, the being who dances in White Mahakala's heart, who's dancing, joyful, thriving in abundance. Love is the most powerful force of all. So I think a lot of you out there might be considering a big change in career or lifestyle, or simply pursuing your hobbies that bring you a lot of joy and passion and excitement in your life, and really focusing in, honing in on that. But specifically, you may be considering a career either in, content creation, creating stuff that people absolutely love and adore and can't get enough of. Or you may be contemplating a new career where you're simply loving and serving others. Like you may be contemplating a career in medicine, being a doctor or a nurse, being a veterinarian, healing sick animals, for example. Or you may be considering something like an environmentalist type of position, or environmental health, something like that, or environmental health or environmental science, something like that, that you you feel so much fulfillment and satisfaction at the end of the day because you have, ideally helped and healed and served a lot of people with your love. And that's all I think that's coming through here. Like, love is the most powerful force of all. But because it's kind of connecting with a card that has to do with abundance, and it's kind of tying into the whole theme of this reading, I think many of you may see a lot of future success doing stuff that not only you love, but it's going to connect with the audience and the people that you serve in a big way. And it's going to bring them a lot of love and joy and, change their lives. Like, I think that's what it's all about. Like, I think that's what it's all about. Like, ultimately, is love. Like, how can you best serve and be, a source of love and light in the world? Like, yeah, you may have to work a desk job and something like that, and you may have to, work in retail or something, and you may, you know, kind of dread getting up and getting ready and going to work every day. But if you are still bringing joy to people's lives and fulfilling a need and connecting to people with a smile, that's something. That's not nothing. And if you are looking for more satisfaction and fulfillment in your life beyond that, that's definitely something you should you know search your soul for. Like, what do you really, really, really want to do in your life? With what if you're sitting on your deathbed and you have to look back on your life and you're like, oh my god, I'll have all these regrets of like what I didn't do, like, and what I ultimately wanted to do for my soul but I didn't do. Think about that. Like, what is that thing that you need to do for your soul, but something that is ultimately going to give a lot of love and light and joy to the world and to people's lives? I encourage you all to reflect on that, think about that, and pursue that going forward. So, whatever brings you a lot of love, joy, light, satisfaction, and fulfillment in your life, make that your career. It doesn't have to be something, amazing or huge, like you're putting yourself out there in the world or in the media or whatever. And if that is something you want to do, absolutely do that. Go for that. Chase that down. But it can be like as simple as I said, like, working a retail job, but it's something that you enjoy because you really connect with the customers that you serve. It can be as simple as that. And then at the end of the day, you go home to either friends or family that, enjoy your company and that you enjoy their company, and you give love back and forth to each other. It's like, that's what life's all about. Like, ultimately, that's what life's all about. It's about, yes, serving the world, serving your community, doing what brings you a lot of love and joy and satisfaction on a personal level, but also on a community and social level. But on the flip side, also, consider, like, but outside of whatever, career or passion project or hobby you enjoy pursuing, like, you still, have your own, private, quiet life at the end of the day, right? And that can include some loudness, some excitement, as you connect with, friends and family as well. But, you know, it's it's all about the love and the joy at the end of the day. Like, when, what do you do your work or your career for, aside from fulfilling your dreams and your goals and your desires. Aside from that, you're doing it for money. You are doing it for a paycheck. That is the ultimate goal, right? To have, more abundance flowing into your life. And abundance is great, but it's no good if you can't, share it with the ones you love. But ultimately, both in the context of this overall reading and just as a message for everyone, for every sentient being here and present with us in life and in universal consciousness, love is the most powerful force of all. Let me say that again for you in the back. Love is the most powerful force of all. And I firmly, truly believe that with my heart and my soul, every fiber of my being. And, that's what I intend to carry forth in my channel and my overall message. And it's something that I connect with on a very deep spiritual and cosmological level, ultimately. Like, it is my personal spiritual deistic it is my personal spiritual deistic it is my personal spiritual deistic cosmological view of the universe that the ultimate goal of all conscious life, of universal consciousness, is to connect and integrate more with that loving energy, the energy of connection and unity and love, and not separation and fear and all that stuff, right? I feel like that is ultimately the highest aspiration of the most wise and elevated and ascended and conscious beings and aspects of universal consciousness. I feel like that is the ultimate highest aspiration. And that ultimate highest aspiration will do magic, absolute magic and wonders for all of universal consciousness in general. So that is, after all, my personal belief. You can choose whichever flavor of that you want. I mean, there's plenty of that message to go around on. There's plenty of that message to go around in the various major world religions and spiritual paths, and the various non-religious spiritual paths out there. There is usually most religions and most spiritual paths, at least in the message, if not in the practice, there is absolutely that message of love is the greatest force of all in the universe. And I am so excited and fascinated, but excited in the most beautiful it's hard to describe, but honestly, I'm just blown away in the most positive of ways to see that as the final message to round off this reading for you all, for the collective. And thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, I absolutely did go out on a limb and do something that was kind of a risk to me, to bring out my courage and have it on display. to do an intuitive reading, but also, you know, from the heart and filled with joy and power, but also courageousness, doing something that I've never done before on this channel or on any platform, any way, like putting myself out there. And, you know, over a year ago, I started to put myself out there in a big way, just even, you know, rebooting this channel and giving new life to it and giving new life to my goals and dreams and desires. And here I am over a year ago. And here I am over a year later, now doing something I've never before done on this channel. It's a beautiful new step and a new chapter. I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a witch's initiation, if you will, even though I've already, you know, awoken her. Like, I've already awoken that energy. It's just putting myself out there in this way, doing, you know, one of the earliest readings I've ever done, but the first reading for this channel. I hope it resonated and impacted all of you. That is my sincere hope and belief. I love all of you so much. Take care. And again, thank you so much for tuning in. Namaste. Blessed be. Go in peace and rock on. Sharon!